Welcome into the Bills Chat halftime show. What a game. I'm going to turn my light on real quick. 1 second. That's better. I forgot to do that ahead of time. So things are going well, I would say. 34-3. The Bills lead the Jacksonville Jaguars at halftime. The Bills have had 5 offensive possessions, and they have scored a touchdown on every single possession. The Jaguars have mustered 3 points. Josh Allen is stealing the show out there. His best pass of the game may have been one that fell incomplete because the pass he threw off of his back foot to James Cook on a wheel route that was just a little bit out of his reach to secure it was an amazing throw. But Josh Allen is 22 of 28 for 247 yards and 4 touchdowns. This first half had a little bit of everything. You got a Damar Hamlin interception on Monday Night Football. And if you followed the Bills long enough, why am I so low? I think my daughter was using my chair or something. You followed the Bills long enough, you know that that's a big deal for Damar Hamlin because we know what he went through. Josh Allen is also the leading carrier this game. 3 carries for 22 yards. Khalil Shakir, 6 receptions for 72 and a touchdown. And then we have James Cook, 4 for 48 through the air, 6 for 20 on the ground with a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, 3 for 41. Everybody's eating. There was concern early in the game that Keon Coleman wasn't seeing any snaps. He came on the field, instantly beat his man for a touchdown, got in the end zone for the first time, showed off that speed that people said he didn't have. I think there's several things you want to take away from this game. One, Sean McDermott, okay? Sean McDermott. In the last 8 quarters of football, the Bills have given up 1 offensive touchdown. 1. While missing 2 All-Pros in Taron Johnson and Matt Milano and a team captain in Terrell Bernard. Sean McDermott. 2. All you have to do is watch the league. My camera is bothering me. All you have to do is watch the league to understand that being a 5-point favorite at home doesn't mean anything. We saw the Browns lose yesterday to the New York Giants. We saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get blown out at home yesterday to Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Hell, on the other channel right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are losing to the Washington Commanders, and Jaden Daniels looks really good. So the league tells us right now that anything is possible, particularly in September. And Sean McDermott has kept his team on the rails. They are not going to lose any games that they should win. This is a game they should win, and boy, oh boy, are they winning. But the story is also Josh Allen. He is fantastic. I think a lot of folks watched the Bills' first 2 games, and they thought that this Bills team was evolving into a rushing team. And I pointed out on our preview show that I don't believe that's the case. I think there were signs in that Miami game on that first drive that the Bills really wanted to come out and be aggressive and throw the ball. But that game got away from Miami so quickly that it became pretty evident to the Bills that the only way they were going to lose that game is if they gave that game to Miami, and they refused to do that. This game, the Jaguars down Darnell Savage, down Tyson Campbell, is a secondary the Bills can absolutely attack. And boy, have they attacked it. Roy Collins with a question. Is James Cook the leading receiver? He's not, Roy. James Cook has 4 for 48, should have 5 for about 60 and a touchdown. The leading receiver for the Bills is Khalil Shakir, 6 for 72 and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid, 3 for 41 and a touchdown. Ty Johnson, 3 for 28 and a touchdown. Keon Coleman, 1 for 24 and a touchdown. Curtis Samuels got 2 for 9. Everybody's eating. You guys know the saying, everybody's eating. The other thing I will say, one concern about this Bills team, what would be their answer for man coverage this year without a Stephon Diggs? Do they have route runners available to them that can beat man coverage? Well, coming into this game, the Jaguars were the team that played the most man coverage of anybody in the sport, 56% man coverage coming into this game. A lot of that skewed early on in the season when they had Tyson Campbell. But the answer the Bills have had in the past against man coverage has been 1, Josh Allen running because all the defenders have their back to the quarterback, and 2, Stephon Diggs winning his route. But without Stephon Diggs, could the Bills beat man coverage? Well, resoundingly yes. Okay. Now, the Jaguars are not going to confuse anybody with the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens. But this is a good defense. Don't let what the Bills are doing to them make you think this isn't a good defense. Coming into today's game, the Jaguars defense had given up 3 defensive touchdowns in 8 quarters of football. In 2 quarters of football against the Bills, they gave up 5. We can't keep moving the chains, moving the goalposts, trying to belittle the opponent of the Bills while trying not to accept what we're seeing. Week 1, we didn't know what the Cardinals were. We probably still don't. The Cardinals put up a really good fight in Orchard Park. The Bills battled back, went blow for blow with them, and closed out that game. And it was like, ooh, I don't know if that's an impressive win or not. Week 2, they dominated the Dolphins, and it was like, well, the Dolphins terrible. Maybe the Bills are good. Don't let the fact that Tua left that game very late in the game distract you from the fact that for three quarters and change, Tua couldn't move the ball at all against this Bills defense, down 3 starters. And now this Jacksonville Jaguars team comes in absolutely desperate to win. They are 0-2. Everything on the line. They have to empty the bag against the Bills. It's 34-3. Now, Luca and I have been all over the fact that this Jaguars team's kind of a paper tiger. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. What you're seeing tonight is the Bills are staying in their too high shell, which makes sense against this team because Trevor Lawrence is very inefficient in the short passing game. On throws of 2.5 seconds or less, getting rid of the ball, Trevor Lawrence ranks 30th in the NFL in completion percentage and the dead last in the NFL in yards per attempt. That's horrendous. I know he's missing Evan Ingram. That can't be the entire story. Gabe Davis has been an absolute ghost out there. You don't want to pile on Gabe Davis, but I don't think any Bills fans are overly surprised by that result. Brian Thomas Jr. Stepped up in weight class this week against Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford. And he's having a welcome to the NFL moment. Now, there was a play he was open. Trevor Lawrence overthrew him, and Damar Hamlin with the interception. Roy Collins, I had questions about the passing game. This game has shown me they have one. Well, they absolutely do. I think the last 2 quarters against the Cardinals and then this game tonight against the Jaguars is optimistic for a couple of reasons. One, the Cardinals secondary is really bad, and the Jaguars are down 2 of their best starters in the secondary. So if you're a good passing offense, you should be able to exploit that. And the Bills are not just exploiting that. They are like on their way to setting records against the Jaguars tonight. They are a very good passing team. Josh Allen has a lot to do with it. I do think the larger point that a lot of us have been kind of pounding the drum for all offseason, don't be distracted by the magnitude of the names that left this offseason. Mitch Morse, Gabe Davis, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White. I'm going to set Stephon Diggs to the side for a second because I do think he's still playing at a high-ish level. But I think we all that watch this team closely know that those players were not high-level players anymore, despite the fact that they all had some really fantastic moments for the Bills. And going from Mitch Morse to Connor McGovern always had the opportunity to not be a huge downgrade. Going from Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer in 2023 to Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin, eventually Cole Bishop, always had the chance to not be a huge downgrade. Going from Tre'Davious White to Rasul Douglas has been a massive upgrade. Let's just call it what it is. We all love Tre'Davious White, but Rasul Douglas in 2023 and 2024 is a world's better player than what Tre'Davious White was post ACL injury. It stinks to have to say that because we all love Trey White, but that's the reality. So the sticker shock of what the Bills lost, I think, overweighed some people's minds of what this team could be. And so far through 3 games, they're absolutely answering the bell. Let's get to Murph's comment here. This has me thinking what we could do with our 3 top 64 picks in the draft if we go heavy on defense. Well, the draft is a long way away. And, to Murph's point, I think a lot of us were thinking that Vikings pick was going to be very high in the second round. And they are like a wagon right now with Sam Darnold, who did suffer an injury. So we'll have to see what's going on there. You want the Bills to get a good draft pick, but if you like good stories, like this Viking story is pretty addicting. I love redemption stories. I love what's going on with Sam Darnold. I want the Bills to get a better pick, but it is fun to kind of see what's going on with Sam Darnold and that Vikings team. But yeah, I mean, the Bills right now, for a team and a GM in Brandon Beane that has come under fire for whatever reason for not being a good drafter, I mean, set aside the fact that he traded up for Josh Allen. People called him nuts for taking Allen over Rosen. I mean, Christian Benford was his draft pick. Terrell Bernard was his draft pick. Cam Lewis looks like somebody that they not only kept around for good reason, but developed. Jamarcus Ingram is a player they have developed. Greg Rousseau was a draft pick. He's going to get a sack tonight, by the way. Ed Oliver was a draft pick, and the Bills are not a team that's been picking in the top 10. They've been consistently picking in the 20s and 30s. And to continue to pluck away talent, to get Christian Benford in the 6th round, to get Taron Johnson in the 4th round, this is a very good roster. And it's not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on you, that the Bills had 10 draft picks this past April. 8 of them made the team. Clayton is on the practice squad, and then Hardy is on the practice squad. Clayton has the international exception, and 7 of them are active on game days. This is a very, very, very good draft class so far. Roy Collins, MVS and Hollins need to catch in the second half, then everybody will have eaten. That's a good point. MVS only has 1 for 7. Mac Hollins has been basically a run blocker and a wind sprint guy. They had a miscommunication on the deep ball. But I think they'll get theirs. The Bills are probably going to scale it down in the second half unless they just want to put on an air show. There really is no point to do that. Let's keep in mind they have a massive game next week against a Baltimore team that we expect them to be competing with for high seeding in the playoffs. And they do have a short week of rest coming up because of playing on Monday Night Football. So getting this game to the garage, getting it to the point where Mitch Trubisky can be handing off to Ray Davis in the 4th quarter is an ideal spot for this team to get to. Let's have a clean 3rd quarter, maybe another couple touchdowns by the offense. Sure. Don't get anybody else hurt. Let's get out of here. We've had enough highlights tonight. Let's just get out of here and survive. The Island of Misfit Toys. I like that name. I think a lot of players have taken it personal on this team. The names that have gone and the names that are still here. It's like Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau. Hey, we're 1st round draft picks. Von Miller's like, hey, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. Christian Benford's about to get paid. Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are in the conversation for the best tackle tandem in the league, and James Cook's a Pro Bowler, and Dalton Kincaid, I think, is on his way, and the world is finding out who Khalil Shakir is. Let's give the final comment to very, very, very good friend of the show, the McChronicle. How many day 3 masterpieces does Bean have? The answer, more than enough. And that is absolutely true. We already talked about the fact that they got Taron Johnson. They got Christian Benford. Sean McDermott was the one who drafted Matt Milano, sure. But even on day 2, late day 2, they got Spencer Brown in the 3rd round. Everybody wants to make fun of the fact that they took Boogie Basham. The round after that, they took Spencer Brown. This roster has talent. It has depth. Balin Spector has played every snap tonight. Came up huge in the Miami game. He's a 7th round pick. Not every draft pick has to be a starter. Not every draft pick has to be a star. DeMar Hamlin was a 6th round pick, and he's starting right now. So this is a very good roster. And the exciting thing for me is Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford are playing at such a high level that we haven't even had the opportunity to see what Kyer Elam can do. And anybody that watched training camp and preseason will tell you that Kyer Elam looks like a brand new football player. So that's another weapon in their holster they have. And I think Kyer Elam has a chance to matter to this team a lot next year if Rasul Douglas leaves via free agency. But enjoy the second half. I don't know if we're going to record a post-game show or not. I mean, this game kind of feels like it's headed in a direction that we can all foresee. Maybe we'll throw something up there on YouTube just to kind of recap it. But enjoy the second half. Games like this don't happen very often. Expect the Bills to be mature in the second half, not let the Jaguars get any momentum, get back into this. The defensive line should be able to pin their ears back. I'd love to see Javon Solomon get out there and get some snaps on the defensive line, rush the passer. No more injuries. Let's get to 3-0, and let's get ready for that big matchup with the Baltimore Ravens. Thanks again for tuning in to the Buffalo Bills halftime show on Bills Chat YouTube, and I will see you next week.